Hi, this is my final day of doing the snake juice water fasting. Having said that, a few days ago I felt very lightheaded and that headache was just ever lingering and I didn't really feel good at all. So I did do one cheat with a small cup of chicken broth. It didn't help on the day, which was day 4. However, my headache was almost completely gone on day 5, and or was it 5 and 6? Never mind, 4 or 5. Can't remember exactly. And today I have no headache whatsoever. Yesterday I didn't really have a headache either. I could feel that. Sometimes I don't know if you're familiar with having a lot of headaches, you can kind of feel that it's there, and you know that if you do something wrong, it will come back, but it's not enough to actually bother you. So, something I want to tell you is that the last couple of days since I did my last video, I haven't really been hungry at all. I had maybe 30 seconds this morning where I felt, oh my god, I'm actually hungry, and then it went away again. So that's pretty cool. And the best thing is I haven't had any cravings for food or for any type of sweet things. That's just completely gone. I almost feel indifferent about food. I was doing some food prep yesterday and I was just doing it. I wasn't feeling like, oh my god, I can't wait until I can eat this. It was just something that I was doing because I had decided to do that already. So my energy has been alright. It's been a slight bit on the low side, but then my sleep hasn't been ideal either. So whether that's fasting or whether that's a bit of sleep deprivation, I don't really know. Having said that, I have been a little bit lightheaded, and I think I mentioned this in a previous video. I have always, my whole life, my mom has this as well, had low blood pressure. So it might just be that many people say that the blood pressure will go down when you're fasting, and that might be what's been going on. I do have a machine that measures that, but I can't find it, so I can't really check my blood pressure. Having said that, I was talking about my racing pulse, and it is still racing. So I did do a measure. I'm gonna do it right now while I'm talking. When I was standing. So yesterday I was out walking and I took my pulse and it was about 120 beats per minute. And that sounds kind of normal. It's no problem. However, when I'm standing now, I am having a pulse of 127. So that's higher than when I'm actually walking, which is really, really strange. But there you go. That's just how it is. So I feel like I could just continue fasting. It's not a problem. So once I got to this point, after day 5, on day day 5 actually, it's a breeze almost. It's just okay. I've gone through the worst bit. I always thought and I always heard that at day 3 it will be better, and it has been when I've been doing 3-day fasts, because day 1 and 2, what you're battling with is that you are hungry and you have these cravings and you just want to eat and it doesn't feel right. But on day 3, you're starting to kind of get used to that. But I really didn't feel ideal, like, with the racing heart and the dizziness and the low energy and everything on day 4 and so on. So I think I'm pretty much almost out on the other side when I'm starting to feel really good. My body feels like it's working well. I'm not being extremely cold. I am a very cold person, if you like, and I've always been cold. I'm always freezing when other people are not. They say nothing's wrong with my thyroid, but maybe I just naturally have a lower thyroid that will just, go into that mode. I haven't really had any of these problems. When it's really cold, I'm freezing, but it's no huge difference really. I feel like that hasn't really changed. So clearly my body is burning fat, it's producing the energy that I need. So that's pretty awesome. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to stop fasting. I am going to eat today, but I am going to continue with my fasting. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to do a snake juice fast. So I'm having my snake juice, which is water with some electrolytes in. And I will do 24, 48 or 72 hours. And then I will have 1 or 2 days of refeeding in between. So you may wonder why I'm doing this fast, because I don't think I actually have mentioned it. So my main reason is that since I was maybe 20 years old, so without telling you how old I am, that is just above half of my lifetime, I have had a degree of sinus congestion. It started out with only when I was laying down, when I was going to sleep, and I always had to use a decongestant in my nose. And that has been a little bit up and down. The best diet I have been on that has been helpful for that has been a low carb ketogenic diet. Then I haven't had any problems during the day when I'm, upright, but still at night they clog up for whatever reason, and that's it. I have had occasional times where I haven't had to use the decongestant, but they have still been kind of congested. But I have still been able to get some air through it, because the worst thing ever is to try and breathe through your mouth. Right now, so when I've been doing 3-day fast, I have felt that on day 3 it starts to relieve a bit, but not that much. So I thought I want to do a 7-day fast. And what's happened is that on day 4 it started to get better, and unfortunately I haven't had the results that I wanted. It is better, but I still have to use the decongestant at night, so there is still not much air coming through right now. And that's a bit disappointing. You're meant to be resetting your immune system when you're doing this and all that. So if this is pure inflammation, I would have kind of expected that I would have expected it to have a bit more results. So that's why that's my main reason for wanting to continue. I just want to see that if I keep fasting and just refeeding with good food, and if that would be helpful, and if we can get to some sort of solution. Because if I can, I'm going to live that way, because I've been looking for a solution for this half my life or more. I have a second reason as well, and believe it or not, I do have a little bit of excess body fat, and I wouldn't mind shedding that. I'm not as fit as I used to be, as in I used to lift a lot of weights constantly. Since moving to New Zealand, I did it in the beginning a bit. I didn't like the gym. Here in Greymouth, where I live, there aren't many gyms. There is one, and it's one of these community centers that have swimming pool and all that sort of thing. And I like doing Olympic weightlifting and that sort of thing, and there's no opportunity to do that there. So I haven't really been able to get into the space where I want to do that. So my exercise nowadays is mainly fetching firewood from the beach and going for daily walks with my dogs. So that's not quite sufficient to maintain the muscle mass I once had. So I would have said that my ideal goal weight would maybe have been 65 kilos, but I imagine that I have lost quite a lot of muscle mass. So right now I might want to aim for something around 60, 62, but I'm not going to fixate on the number. I'm going to fixate on how my body looks and feels. So I'll probably continue doing this until I hit a weight or a body image of myself or whatever that I'm feeling comfortable with, that I want to keep. Because I imagine that is going to happen quite far down the road, maybe, compared to my sinuses. I'm hoping that if the sinus problem is going to be resolved, that will happen before I reach my ideal weight. if I'm feeling like my sinuses are constantly getting better and better, I will continue doing this whether I hit the weight or not. It's not my main priority, but something, let's say I have two goals. Whichever I hit last is the one that will determine when I'm stopped doing this. So I've had a few questions about, how much weight loss I've had and so on. Unfortunately, since this wasn't the reason I was fasting necessarily, I didn't really check my weight when I started. But I checked it on day 3, I think. And I am just guessing now, but I think I might have lost 4 to 5 kilos. Today, in fasted state, I am 68.5 kilos. So I'm not far from that 65 that would have been ideal, but I can see on my body that that's not where I would have been if I had been at that weight, let's say 2 or 3 years ago. So I imagine that maybe after refeeding I might be up to 70 again. So I'm just guessing 4 to 5 kilos lost probably, and I will probably regain at least 1.5 or something like that. Yeah, so my pulse is obviously still racing when I'm standing, and it's just really strange that it's so much higher than when I'm walking. It's just really strange to me, but I might ask my physiologist here if he has any idea. I did measure my resting heart rate this morning as well, and it's up to 67, so that is slightly raised from where it would normally be. And for those of you who are interested, I had the strangest thing this morning. So on day 2, I had a bowel movement, and that was fine. Then nothing. This morning, all of a sudden, out of the blue, I had another one. Now, it wasn't large by any means, but I'm just perplexed. I'm wondering where on earth is this coming from. So I'm wondering if you're watching this and you had that experience, please let me know if you want to share that sort of information, because I find that really, really strange. I'm just thinking, what could have resided inside of me for 7 days, or a little, cup of chicken broth wouldn't necessarily do that, I don't think. So I have no idea where this is coming from. Anyway, before I'm talking about how I'm going to end my fast, I'll just show you a little clip here of what I talked about this on day 3, I think. I had these food thoughts and food cravings, and I just went online and I was ordering this huge brisket and stuff. So I just want to show you when it arrived yesterday what it looks like, and yeah, here it is. Right, so here is the box that they delivered to me. It's all packaged in some sheep wool. This is quite funny because we're in New Zealand, and as you all know, there are many sheep here. So first of all, we have a bunch of pork ribs, or baby back pork ribs. I've got 4 of those. I can remove those, and then at the bottom we have a 3.5 to 4 kilo beef brisket, and it's actually quite large, and when I prepare this I had to really fold it and squeeze it into the slow cooker, but it did fit. So there you go. Okay, so that was that, and so my plan for breaking my fast is that in about 4 hours now, I've been doing my 7 days, I would just have another cup of chicken broth and let that sit for a little while. I didn't find that was a problem before, but I'll see if it maybe stimulates my hunger somewhat. I don't really think so. And then that beautiful brisket has been in the slow cooker since last night. So I will be having some brisket after that. That should be very well cooked by then. Probably the protein fibers are going to be pretty well broken down already. It would be very easy to digest, I imagine. So that's what I'm going to do. And we'll see how large of a portion I can take. I have what people say they have iron stomachs. I might say I'm not quite that far, but my stomach can usually take quite a lot. I've broken 3 days fasts with, I thought I was just gonna have chicken broth first, but or I call it an egg drop soup, so you put some egg in there and that was it, and that has just stimulated my hunger. And then I've gone bananas with cheese and maybe salami or something else, and I've been perfectly fine. But I have never fasted for 7 days, so I will eat a little bit. I will start slow, and I will eat a little bit of brisket, have a little break for maybe an hour or so. If I want to eat more, then I will just eat more. I'll just see how my body reacts, but I don't want to push it, so I will have to eat those words up again. So yeah, that was my 7-day fast. It's almost over. And actually right now my stomach just told me that I'm hungry. Maybe because I'm talking about the phone. But it's almost gone again right now. So yeah, it's interesting experiment. I will keep you updated with what is happening with my sinuses and my weight loss progress. If you're curious about anything else that might occur when you're fasting, if you're wondering would it help with this, what have you experienced, and so on, feel free to just ask me. I will include that in my videos so that you can get some feedback from me right when I'm doing it. And yeah, if you're here watching, can you please subscribe to my channel? I'm on about 202 or 203 subscribers. It would be super cool if I could get up to 1,000 very soon. That way we can reach more people. I can actually get a little bit, I say a little bit because it's not a lot of money from YouTube for having the channel as well. So that would support me in what I'm doing, because it's a job that doesn't pay very well, clearly. So yeah, I would really appreciate that. And thank you so much for all your comments that you have had on my previous fasting videos, and your input and your experiences and your questions. I really, really enjoy that. It's really good to hear from you. So please keep doing that. Post some comments, questions, experiences, and so on. So yeah, I will see you soon again. Take care.